Morning, gentlemen. Welcome you all to the monthly roundup of important events that took place in August. First, we will discuss about the Bangladesh affairs. On 12th of August, the erstwhile Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Ms. Sheikh Hasina, resigned and fled to India. Her resignation has larger implications for India, both politically as well as security wise. This was covered earlier in great details. The link I am giving here. Those who are interested can refer to this link and refer to the video. Now, out of 7 South Asian neighbors from SAARC, we have strained relations with most of them now, except Bhutan, which is surely not an achievement of current Indian government. Nepal has put up maps claiming Indian territories. It is not sending its men to join Indian army. Bangladesh's new leader, Mr. Muhammad Yunus, has asked India to stop meddling in their country's affairs and leave them alone. Mr. Sharif, the Pakistani Prime Minister, while congratulating the head of Bangladesh's interim government, stressed the need to reinvigorate the SAARC process, whose last summit was held in 2014 and thereafter not held on some pretext or the other. So we can anticipate the implications. Maldives president had driven our troops out and we are trying to teach them a lesson. We need to introspect. How have we arrived to this situation despite all the showgirl that India is now being respected, whereas the fact is that the smaller nations in our own neighborhood are challenging us. Let's not blame external agencies for these setbacks, because the Bangladeshis claim that Miss Hasina was there because of India, because India wanted her. And is Nepal not sending its men to Indian army because ISI or Chinese have told them to do so? Let's introspect all this. The second aspect, the Bangladeshi Hindu students were also in the forefront opposing Ms. Sheikh Hasina's authoritative rule. If Hindus were targeted, so were the Muslims, who were seen to be closer to Sheikh Hasina, who was perceived by Bangladeshis to be pro-India. We must understand communalism can lead to more communalism. Fundamentalists in each community complement each other because they cause division in their communities, in society, bring intolerance and violence. Fundamentalism, communalism, animosity, they work on Newton's third law of motion. To every action, there is equal and opposite reaction. The social media news travels faster. The news of lynchings, the use of dozers, destruction of temples in Bangladesh, destruction of mosques. The news has no borders and it impacts people's perception. The second important event that took place in this month was Prime Minister Mr. Modi visited Ukraine, and it was a rare wartime visit by the leader of a country who is seen to be a close ally of Russia and its leader Vladimir Putin. However, despite all the Galeshale Milna, it was a visit which Prime Minister Mr. Modi also perhaps knew nothing much concrete would emerge, except perhaps that his image and India's image in international arena would improve. While Mr. Modi during the visit talked about territorial integrity and focused on peace, Ukrainian President Mr. Zelensky was not impressed, and he missed no opportunity to express his displeasure. Therefore, nothing much can be expected from this visit, particularly if India was looking for a mediator's role. There are many indicators. The first one, Zelensky took him to the War Museum to show Indian Prime Minister that almost 570 children have died due to Russia's invasion. He did that deliberately to convey Mr. Modi that the day he was embracing Putin last month, Mr. Putin's missile had hit a children's hospital in his country. That's why even the BBC also reported that it was surely no coincidence that the first place Mr. Modi was taken on Friday was Ukraine's History Museum, where he was invited to watch an exhibition remembering all of the 570 Ukrainian children reported to have been killed since Russia's invasion that began in February 2022. The second indicator, after the visit was over, Zelensky said, I told Prime Minister Modi that we could have the Global Peace Summit in India. It's a big country and the largest democracy. But we won't be able to conduct a peace summit in a country who has not signed the communique of the peace summit, or the first peace summit. Now, this summit on peace in Ukraine was held in Switzerland in June. this year, and almost 100 nations had signed the memorandum, which India preferred to abstain. One Ukraine-based Indian scholar commented that the perception in Ukraine is that India operates under the shadow of Russia and is an enabler of Putin's war effort. What holds Ukrainians back is that India does not recognize Russia as an aggressor state. It talks about peace, but it did not sign the communique. He also criticized India's imports of cheap Russian oil to help Moscow's war economy. If India won't be buying oil, then Russia will have significant troubles and challenges. Now, the problem with the Indian foreign policy today is that various actors dealing with the foreign affairs, the international affairs, are probably fighting their own turf war. Please refer to the link for more on this. They, in order to please Mr. Modi, they are behaving as it was depicted in an old advertisement of Maggi hot and sweet chili sauce, in which Pankaj Kapoor kept saying, "It's different." This can best be illustrated by a recent incident that happened during Mr. Modi's visit to Austria. In July 2024, Mr. Modi in his speech had said that his foreign policy is now more engaging. And after Mr. Modi's speech, the Austrian Chancellor, Mr. Karl, in Mr. Modi's presence, recalled the crucial role played by Mr. Nehru in the restoration of Austria's freedom, independence and sovereignty in 1955. Mr. Nehru did so on the request of Austria by prevailing upon the erstwhile Soviet Union. Now, the sheer size of our economy should make us an important international actor, and the nation should be able to use this leverage to create greater opportunities for all of us, for all Indians. But today, it seems to have been reduced to providing photo opportunities and to earn few brownie points on social media. It is increasingly appearing that governance is done on social media. The third event that happened, it's the medical college rape case in Kolkata. We all know this, right? But the highlight is that the rapes have become a political power game. It saddens me. What it basically means is that the seriousness of this violent crime and the increasing incidence of rapes in our towns and villages are no concern for those in governance. They may be at the center or in the states. It makes no difference to them. It only helps them to settle political scores. The victim is of no concern to them. The rapes are taking place in Uttarakhand, UP, Maharashtra and every other state. I was even surprised to watch that even in Madhya Pradesh there were members of the ruling political party. They were taking out protests against Mamata Banerjee when their own state is ranked 10th in crime against women, and they have not taken any reformative action in law enforcement system. So therefore, I do not foresee anything happening till we give up our political affiliations and start thinking apolitically. Our politically vitiated minds do not allow us to act unitedly. And as a result, the politicians divide us into various segments: Dalits, OBC, Thakurs, Rajput, Brahmins, Hindus, Muslims, Christians and so on. Some political parties create divide between Hindus and Muslims and Christians, and some further divide the Hindus into Dalits, OBCs, Thakurs, Rajputs and all. So they are one and the same. Ms. Mamata Banerjee can be overthrown, Mr. Rahul Gandhi and Mr. Kejriwal can be imprisoned for months, but nothing is likely to change as far as the safety and security of a common man and woman is concerned. We must not forget that the Delhi police is in the hands of central government, and the state, surprisingly, is at number 1 as far as crime against women is concerned. Once we citizens are able to rise above our political affiliations and be predominantly concerned only about our rights, our security, our welfare, the politicians will be compelled to respect us, and they will bring reforms in the law enforcement system as well as in the overall governance system. We, the citizens of the country, need to insist everyone's life matters, be it a Hindu or a Christian or a Muslim, or Dalit or an upper caste. All this news travels far and wide, and we make a mockery of ourselves when some of us claim India की इज्जत और प्रतिष्ठा बड़ी है, भारत इज्जत की नजर से देखा जाता है. Right? Okay, Jai Hind.